So we've decided to put a surgical team and crew into a submarine, reduce it way down in size, and inject it into an artery.
You mean I'm going along?
As part of the crew, yes.
Wait a minute. They can't shrink me.
Our miniaturizer can shrink anything.
But I don't want to be miniaturized.
Ken Spriggs here again. I'm doing a side video to my Proteus build. What I want to talk about are some aftermarket kits, some really nice kits. Some of these I've been waiting for, well, one of these I've been waiting for a couple of weeks now, and finally got it. It's going to help me accurize my kit even better, make it look really nice. So we're going to be talking about 3 of these, and I am definitely recommending each of these very nice kits. Well done, and they're really going to add that added layer of realism to your Proteus. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so here are the 3 sets for accurizing the Proteus. And they do different functions. We'll look at them all and then we'll talk about each one individually. So I want to start here with a masking set by Aztec Dummy. Allows you to mask off certain parts of the Proteus for painting. And it also lets you use parts that you can put on, masking vinyl to put on, to leave on the kit to give different details as well. So we'll talk about that and go over that. Definitely a really excellent company. Have gotten several products from them for the Lost in Space, the Flying Sub from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Excellent kits, definitely very helpful for painting them and bringing the detail out. The second one then I'm going to look at is a set of figures, very, very nice seated figures from Jimmy Flintstone, and really, really good sculpts, really good figures, so we'll take a look at those as well. We'll kind of see how those are going to look inside the kit. And then last but not least, and this is the one I've been waiting for a couple of weeks, is the photo etch set from Paragrafix. Really, really nice. Lots and lots of details, lots of controls, lots of parts to add realism to the kit and also light it up. So we'll talk about each of those. All right. All right, so first up is the Aztec Dummy masking set. And as I said, part of it is to mask off parts that need painted. Part of it is actually parts that are going to stay on the kit, like this right here, that imitates the gasket around the windows, and I'll show you how that looks here in a second. And actually this is my favorite part with the gaskets. It's really nice, gives you that gasket look around the windows. Because it's a submarine, it would have a rubber seal around the windows, so this helps you to imitate that. So you get 2 masking sheets. You get one for the gaskets around the windows, and you can see the little squares there. Those are for the landing pads on top, the foot pads that they stand on. And the kit comes with decals for those, but I like these much better because they're self-sticking vinyl. They're a little sturdier. Decals tend to peel off and break, so I really don't want to put the decals on for that. You get another set, and this has masks for the windows if you want to glue that together first and then mask out the windows and paint them. It also has some masking for the back hatchway, the little back window, that you can mask that off and paint it black if you want to. And then it has on the bottom a little strip, and on the top a little better shot there, sorry, a little sawtooth strip that lets you mask off the bubble on top, so you can paint the parts on the bubble that should not be clear. So you can light that up as well, which I'll be doing. So you have some real nice instructions. There you go. So it goes over how to mask the windows, and I'll show you that, like I said, in a second. On the other side, there's the little foot pads that I was talking about that go up to the top of the sub so they can get in the top hatch. And there's what they look like, non-skid mats. I'm probably going to go ahead and paint those a flat black before I adhere them to the kit, so I get a little dollar finish to them. There's the back of it. If you back off that rear hatch mask, as you can see there, very nice. I'm going to actually open mine up, so I'm not going to be using those ones. And then there's, if you want to mask off the front windows, if you want to paint it after it or touch it up, those will be very nice. And then there's the bubble, sawtooth mask, and the headlight mask, or the ring basically. So very nice kit. Very inexpensive. I think it was between $20 or $30. But as I said, my favorite part is the masking of the windows. So the windows on the sub, you have one big piece which covers all those little parts, and then you have this piece. You can see the different sections. This goes underneath it. So this is inside the sub, and inside there are some slots right in here that you glue on. There's a little camera that reads the maps. There's another little, not quite sure, I'll have to take a look, but there's a couple of parts on there. So that goes on the inside. So what happens is you take each of these sections off, you take the middle out, and then you stick it on as so. So basically it gives you a nice, well-cut window framing. So when you put it inside the sub, it appears as though it has the rubber gasket around it. And this whole piece will be covered with that set. So let me show you how that looks inside the actual top hatch, or the top half of the sub. All right, so I've inserted the clear plastic inside of the sub, as you can see. And when it's positioned right, it just gives you just that little bit of an edge that shows you it looks like there's a black gasket and it's not positioned just right, but you can get the idea there. So very, very nice, very nice. And all of these windows will have that. So it gives it just that added detail and realism, which is really, really nice. I really did intend to put already a gasket on there, but when I saw this masking kit, this is the perfect way to do it. So I don't have to get some type of little rubber stripping or something else and paint it. So it's quite perfect. And once this is painted white and you have that glued inside, that'll be perfect. It'll give it that look as though there's actually a rubber seal sealing off that window, which would be realistically in a sub. So that's my favorite part of that. And I think it adds just that added realism. You can see it really makes that pop and stand out. So I really like this kit. It's really going to help me to mask off the parts. As I said, I'm not going to be using the one in the back. There's my cutout windows. I'm going to be having something clear in there so I can see the lab in there. But I will definitely be painting the top ring so I can light it, putting in the gaskets, putting in the foot pads up on top, and having those in as well. So quite excellent. Really love this kit. Very reasonable. And as I said, Aztec Dummies, definitely one of the leaders in the masking industry for this, for the science fiction kits. And highly recommend Lou Dalmasso, who does these. He has his own videos for kits. I really like his videos and learned a lot of tricks from it. And so highly recommend it. And here are the seated figures from Jimmy Flintstone. Really, really nice sculpt on these. Excellent detail. Likenesses are very close. I mean, they're obviously not going to copyright the faces of the actors, but they got a very good facsimile of them. Really nice, especially in the very small detail. So these are pretty tiny, as you can see. Roughly an inch and a half, give or take. But if you can see there, really nice detail. Look at that face sculpt. Excellent. Very excellent. The seat belts, every part of it, the little boots, laces on the boots. That little hole there in his boot, that's about the only defect I saw on it. Very easily fixed. I can patch that up quite a bit. But everything else, really nice sculpt, really nice molding. So very little issues at all. There's the villain, Dr. Michaels. And these are all in a seated position. So I'm going to have them in the sub, seated. There's Raquel Welch, Cora. Same thing, very nice sculpt. Even the seated poses that they have are very close to the actual screenshots, which are really nice. Mr. Grant. Once again, look at that. Look at that profile. I mean, that's amazing. For such a small detail. Really well done. Really, really well done. Then the pilot. And the pilot comes pre-molded with the headphones, with the earpieces. He's the only one, his arms are not attached. They come separate. You glue them on, mainly so that you can have, one of the arms has an attachment to a little joystick. So you can glue that on, a little bit of controls on it, kind of neat. The other arm is just his hand. And once again, just the level of detail. Look at that hand. For such a small, tiny little, barely even focus on it. Really well done. Look at that. excellent detail on that hand as well. So really nice, really nice. Definitely love these figures to be able to put inside there. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to kind of mock them up on this sub and show you what they'll look like inside. Alright, so here's a crude mock-up of the figures inside the kit. I just kind of taped everything together, so forgive the shakiness of it, especially that guy up there who's ready to fall off. And he has no arms. Yeah, tragic accident. I don't know how he's going to pilot the sub, but he's the only one whose arms came separate. His arms can be glued on to hold the joystick, basically, in doing it. But very nice sculpts. Excellent work from Jimmy Flintstone. Just look at the faces on there. Quite a bit of detail. On their uniforms, the seat belts. There's the Raquel Welch Cora figure. The pilot at the top, Mr. Grant. All in a nice seated pose, so they look really great. Even the poses are very well patterned after the movie when they're all sitting and they're shrinking the sub in the first place. So excellent work. Be careful up there, guy, don't fall off, crash the sub. But these figures are really going to make this kit, and once I get those painted and detailed and get some faces on them, quite excellent. So very happy. Quite an excellent product. I highly recommend them. Well worth the price. I believe they were like about $30. But very nice figures. Very small as far as the scale. So to get that kind of detail, let's see if I can get some scale here. Yeah, there's my thumb. So you can see very tiny figures. Maybe an inch and a half, something like that. Excellent detail in these resin figures. Very little issues, a slight bit of issues here and there, but nothing that can't be patched. Oh, there he goes. Well, the pilot's taking a tumble, took out Grant, so we're in trouble. All right. But very good figures. All right, and then here is the final set. It's the photo etch set from Paragrafix. Lots and lots of parts to super detail the kit. Make all the controls more realistic, light them up from behind. It has a lot of parts that are going to work really well. I showed you in my previous video the little chart table that I drilled the holes out of. So they have a part on the kit, two parts actually. They have this piece right here, nicely molded, so that'll go over top of that. Let's see if I can show you. Come on, stay together. There we go, okay. Alright, so basically you're going to have this going over top of it. And covering up those holes so I can make sure that they're sanded a little better. But a nice finish on top, and then it'll be painted. And then likewise, there's this piece that you fold the two sides, and that goes on the inside. So in between, it lets you accommodate some plastic tubing, which I showed in a previous video that I'll put inside to go between them. So this will line them up nicely, so that those will go through there and give it some dimension and give it the holes that are in it. You have another replacement part for the back fin right there. They are positionable. I don't really want to position them, but I'll probably replace that. Likewise, around the edge of this, you have these little parts here. Hard to see it, but they got little rivets on them, really nice. So it makes it look like the actual movie. And these will be glued on. All of these will be glued on prior to painting, and then obviously you'll detail it. You have like the little controls in the front for the little radar dish. There's some other little controls. Even a tiny little, it's real hard to see that in close up, that two little thing right there. That goes right underneath the sub right by the hatch, and it has a red and a green light on it to show that the hatch is flooded so they can get it open. You got some controls, of course. There's all these controls that are there, quite a few. Some pieces like this one here and this one here that actually fold, and they have them scored, as you can see. So you can fold them, and they make little control panels that you make. Very nice. On the back there's similar to the ones for there. You have the ones that go on the back of the sub. Sorry about that. And they detail this part. And I have a little bit of a notch right there. You can see, so I'll fill that in, and that'll cover those up. So that also brings out some detail there, and I'm going to have these with windows on there as well. You have the various vents that go inside of the sub, and on the bottom of it as well, the little vents that would take in water. Other very fine details as well on there to bring that out. The controls, of course, then also comes with a little backlit piece here, as you can see. Light shines through. It's frosted, but you put these little parts in the other way. Sorry, and then they're see-through, so you can light them behind. You got your little gauges, your little dials. You have the little thing for the front monitor. So very nice. So these will actually go behind the kit, and several of these parts, like right here, you can see these little pieces here, this one right there, it just lines up behind it and shows all the gauges. So really, really nice. Let me see if I can give you an idea. So let's see. So we got Alright, so it's a little close up. There you go. So you can see little gauges inside behind it, and those will light up. So the front of it will be painted and glued onto the actual part of the kit, which would be right here. So all this detail will be sanded off. And the parts that need to be lit will be drilled out or cut out from behind, and then put some lights behind them. So all these controls right here, they all have corresponding parts. Very nice. Really, really nice. And in addition, besides, just the plain plastic raised detail, these have a whole lot better detail. Look at that. Quite nice. And then with the lit dials from behind, they'll look very realistic. So pretty much every control in the sub that you could possibly want is there. You have some replacement little foot pads for the pilot chair at the top. Very nice. Some more controls there. You have the radio. There's the radio. An old dial behind that. Likewise, you can get some really good detail out of that. These pieces right here, these are little tracks. There's two little tracks, a top and a bottom track, that go on the airlock, which I scratch built. So I'm going to have the door propped open, and one of them goes across the top, and pretty much they'll extend over here, and it looks as though there's an actual track that the door rides along. So that'll be what these pieces right here are going to be. You can see, so that just will be for the door. Pretty nice, really nice detail. And I like that they made them with the idea that you would probably want to do what I did. Open up your airlock and put a door on it. So I really like that they thought of that, because that's very helpful. I was thinking of a way to just cut off some styrene strip or something and make my own, but I don't have to. I can now use theirs to be able to detail that. So quite excellent. So now that I got this kit, I can go ahead and go full force and start getting this done. One of the best parts that I really, really like, if you look at the bottom here, there's actually some real nice detail on it. This bottom strip right here. And what this is you cut it out and you wrap it up, and it's in the top ring. And it goes up here. for the bubble. So when the bubble's on, this clear edge is going to light up from behind. And I have some lights that are going to go in there. And basically, this part here will just fit inside the outer edge of this, and it'll mask it off. So it will have just the little part sticking through, as you can see. And it works as a mask as well. So this will be painted white. It'll be glued into a ring stuck inside here, and the lights will be behind it. So all you're going to see are the lights that stick through those little openings. And it's going to give that nice little segmented section through the ring there. So really nice. I love that a lot. That's going to really help me to get that look in it, so you'll have the 24 separate little sections that are lit up. And I have some really super small surface mounted LEDs that are going to go in there, and they're going to go around that ring and light it up. So once again, another excellent kit. I also really like Paragrafix and their photo etch. I've used their Lost in Space Chariot. Gave a lot of great detail to that kit. And so this is my second one now for the Proteus. You have even these little teeny, these bend into little footsteps that go onto the outside of this. So you actually replace these. You take these off, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So these will get cut off, and those will just take their place. Give it a little more detail on there. For those, you've got some little tiny, this goes on one of the side walls, that little piece right there, that vertical piece with all the little holes, that actually goes right here in front of it. And in the movie it had just a bunch of numbers. I think it was supposed to show the depth or something like that. If you have the little vents that go on here, there's a vent that goes on this side as well, over there as well. So you have those vents, and the vents are really nice too. They give you two options. You can either use these ones, which are all one piece, and it has the little ring detail in the vent inside of it, or you can make the more detailed ones. You have the flat part with the vent and the separate rings. So they let you pick and choose. I'll probably go with the more detailed ones. So these pieces here would go on top of these pieces here to give it a little more depth, a little more detail. So very thoughtful, very nice kit, very well done, excellent detail. So they really put a lot into this and pretty much did everything you could need for this sub to put on here. There's some cabinet doors for the back lab. So pretty much all the parts that you would need. And then in addition to the clear parts that will light up some of the controls, some of the other ones you would simply put some kind of micro crystal clear or something in there and color that and light it from behind as well. So there'll be a whole lot of detail. Mainly I'm looking to light up these control panels so they'll be lit up from behind and really make that look excellent as well. The chart table, of course, getting those really nicely designed masking holes there. So very excellent, very excellent. Another fine kit from Paragrafix. So I'm glad I finally got that. It was a bit delayed, but well worth the wait. Sorry about that. So I highly recommend it to really bring out the detail in this kit, and they really went all out on this. So I take my hat off to you, Paragrafix. All right, so there you go. 3 great aftermarket sets to really bring out the details on your Proteus kit. The masking set runs about $20, give or take. The figure set's about $30, and the photo etch tops it out about $40. So it really does add to that realism. So I'm going to be showing you some more of my continuing of my build, how I add these parts on and make that kit. All right, thank you.